As we mentioned in our last video, our time on the Gulf of Mexico almost ended the trip. Looking back on it now, it's easy to see that we and the boat, we just weren't prepared for that kind of a passage. We wanted to be prepared, but we just weren't there yet. So in today's video, Jason and I recount those 3 days, and we address some of the things that we should have done to better handle a passage like that. Ultimately though, like everything in life, we learned from our experience and changed the way we cruise going forward. Now, the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico. Oh, what an experience. So as we shared in our last video, the beginning started off well. The very beginning started off quite well. We had dolphins, we caught fish, the winds are pretty good. So the forecast, we knew it wasn't going to be perfect. We did, but it looked like the wind angles were what we needed, and the wind strength wasn't going to be anything that we really hadn't encountered before. But it ended up being so much more than what was predicted.
Yeah. So we used predict wind like a lot of cruisers out there, and we scoured it endlessly for the 3 or 4 days before.
Obsessively.
We joined forces with other boaters. We were all kind of looking at it because there's about 3 other boats traveling with us at the same time. And yeah, we all looked, we all agreed, this looks good. As Amanda said, it'll be a bit of a challenge, but nothing that any of us couldn't have handled or haven't been sailing in the past. And based on that, we went. So we were supposed to have about 20 knots of wind from the north day one. Leading into the evening of day one, it was supposed to switch more around to the northeast and building to, I think it was about 30 knots, 35-ish. And wave direction was also going to swing once we got past further into the Gulf. It was going to change around to a northern direction,
Which would have worked.
Which would have worked. The past 2 days it had been coming from the west because it was west winds, so the winds switched. The waves were supposed to die down, rotate around to the northeast with the wind, and for us it was perfect. We would do a beam reach till we got to, I can't remember the name of the point that comes down, and then from there it would be a nice broad reach, almost to a run straight down to the Key West. And for us in Starship, 25 to 30 knots was very manageable. It's what we sailed back home in a short period of wave, and you're running with it, so we weren't concerned. It was going to be good
At first. Yeah.
Unfortunately, like most weather predictions, and us being new to using all these weather apps and that, what we got was quite different. We ended up in a northeasterly to easterly winds, which you would think would still be good, which they kind of were, but not really. And eventually it switched around to a southeasterly.
Yes.
And that could have been managed if it weren't fact that the intensity of the wind also increased. And instead of the 30 knot gusts, we were in regular 30 knot winds with 40 knot gusts. And our waves went from like a 3 to 4 foot manageable to 7 to 8 steady, with the odd 11 and 12 foot wave coming in on the back of us. So, and the period of them was short. And in addition to that, we also continuously got some westerly waves still. So we had a bit of a confused sea for a lot of the times, and it did not go well.
No, on this boat, Morning Stars, we have a surround in the cockpit to deflect any wind and waves. Well, Starship didn't have that. It had a Dodger and a Bimini, which was great, but any waves that kind of hit the stern of the boat were like landing on top of us. So from very early on, we were wet and it was cold, and there was nothing we could do about that. We couldn't go below. Like, the sea state was just so bad that we couldn't go below because of seasickness. So poor Jason and Dylan, they got very seasick.
Yeah.
Like more so than we've ever had, like, experienced before. They weren't keeping any food or water down. I was like on the verge, but fortunately I was okay. But I knew that if I ate anything, if I kind of sat backwards in the cockpit or something, I would be sick too. But yeah, they were very sick, and that made things really hard. We're getting really worried, especially about Dylan. He not even keeping water down. We were scared of dehydration, and like they were throwing up like gravel. They weren't even keeping that down. So,
and as a side note to that, never take ginger gravel once you're sick. It may seem like a good idea, but I can tell you from experience, it burns and is absolutely disgusting coming back up.
So, just if you're at that stage, tough it out.
Tough it out, man. Just hunker down and tough it out, because it was next to the seasickness. It was probably one of my worst experiences on that trip.
Oh, they were so sick, and poor Dylan. He was so good though. Like, you know, we're trying to keep morale up on the boat the best we can, and Dylan was amazing. So the poor child, he would throw up, and I guess you have that little bit of relief feeling after that feels so good, and so he would immediately be like cracking jokes and laughing, and it was just, it really helped given all the different things we were dealing with at that point.
I think while he was doing that, I remember one time he actually talked about the food that we'd get when we got to Key West, and what he wanted to eat first.
Probably a cheeseburger.
Probably. It's a reoccurring theme, it seemed.
So yeah, and then we got into the night, and it just kind of went from bad to worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really tough.
Well, and the nighttime is always tough. When you're out cruising, the daytime you got the light, it kind of keeps your spirits, but when the nighttime comes in, it kind of encircles the boat, and your mood kind of goes with that, and everything seems harder. As Amanda mentioned, being wet was a big factor in our discomfort. We had rain gear on, and Amanda had a survival suit on, so you know we thought we were going to be good. In the end, what ended up happening is, because we were getting so much water on us, it would soak through the rain gear. For her, she got a wave come in, and it was like a trickle down your back.
Well, my hood was back, and a wave kind of found that opening, and I got water right down, and there was just no way to dry.
No.
So I was wet the whole time.
She was wet in this thing. Plus, we're sweating because it was still somewhat warm. So yeah, we were just wet all the time, the whole passage.
Then very cold at night. It kind of shifted to that ice cold.
So I remember Dylan had blankets out to help keep him warm, and his poor bear
was so
never the same.
And his pillow, I think we threw his pillow after. It was just beyond.
Soaked. And I remember at one point, we were still able to sort of do shifts. At this point, Amanda was not sleeping at all. She was kind of taking the lead, because Dylan and I would basically throw up, go back to sleep, throw up, go back to sleep. But there was the odd time where I could stand, and she could not sleep but rest a little bit. But I found out afterwards she didn't even do that. And but I do remember one time trying to curl up on the floor out of the wind, and I had this Mexican blanket that probably weighed 6 pounds that was soaked through. And I remember sitting there debating, as I'm lying my head on this wet pillow, whether I should just get rid of the blanket because it's wet, or keep it. Hopefully the water warms up a little bit and block the wind. And I think in the end I kept it and just curled up and tried getting as much sleep as I could to get through the seasickness.
So all comforts were stripped from us.
And,
all comforts.
And as you said, we weren't eating either. Like we weren't even eating the snacks that we prepared.
Yeah, we were just kind of shifting into survival mode. I mean, it sounds dramatic, but that's what was happening, and that's about when we started looking at the wind direction. Yeah.
So I think this was by about midday, day
it's hard
2.
To remember exactly.
It's hard to remember when, but we hit a certain point where we realized, one, we needed the boat to stop moving. Dylan and I that was going on too long. We were concerned about dehydration, so we needed the boat to stop. And it was obvious at this point we weren't going to make Key West. The wind angle was pushing us further and further to the west. I remember turning to Amanda at one point and looking at her, just saying, like, the best I could maybe do for pointing would be like the western tip of Cuba if we're lucky.
Yeah, he's like, we're going to Cuba. And I'm like, no, we're not. We're going to Key West. And this was our first Christmas away from Canada, our first Christmas on board. Alex was meeting us in a couple days in Key West. Like, that was the plan. So I didn't want to believe it. But when I assessed what he was looking at, I was like, oh yeah, we can't point any higher. This isn't going to work. Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
So
yeah, the decision was made, and our emergency Tampa stop that we thought we'd never use became a reality. And so at that point, we made the decision that we're going to Tampa. We got to get the boat to stop moving. We got to get dry. We got to get food in us. So
I think once we made that decision, we started to feel a little more positive. It's like, okay, we got a game plan, and we thought we weren't that far off.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, no, but you're right. Like, I think at that point we were probably 100 miles offshore, easily, maybe even a little bit more. I can't remember exactly.
We didn't realize, maybe at that point we had started not thinking clearly.
Yeah. Or just the finer points were getting overshadowed. We were all getting tired, and we just knew we had a destination, of course. So now it meant we're tacking into the wind and waves to get there. And of course that then contributes to more water coming over
and more time.
We couldn't point very well, so we were doing way big tacks off, basically going back north and then coming back south, and
it was exhausting.
But we could see the lights on the shore, so we were always a little bit encouraged, and Amanda got in touch with a marina that we picked, and we were like, yeah, okay, well, not really looking at time and understanding how far we were out. She was like, yeah, okay, well, we should be there by 6 o'clock. And
I'm already thinking of the dinner I'm going to make in a couple hours. No.
And then at 6 o'clock, we realized, oh, wait a moment. Well, no, it's probably going to be a little bit longer. And I think at 8 o'clock, I finally had the brainwave of calculating our distance from where I was to where we needed to go. And it was still like 20 miles. And at 6 knots, that was going to get us in there at midnight. And it was an optical illusion, though, because what was that bridge?
The Sunshine Skywalk Bridge. Yeah, in the entrance of town. It's just this big, beautiful bridge. It's like lit up, colorful at night.
And you see it for miles offshore.
You think it's close, but it's not.
So we finally realized, okay, it's later. We started looking at the charts and looking for anchorages close to the entrance, thinking, well, okay, 8 o'clock, maybe there's a spot we could stop. But by this time, it's pitch black and unknown anchorage to us. There was shoals around, and it kind of hit two of the golden rules we don't do. Go into a strange place at night and go into uncharted places at night. So
with strong winds.
And this had strong winds. So we made the decision that by the time we got close to shore, the waves had died down. The winds were still strong, but not as strong. And midnight going into a marina, it's going to be lit up.
Yep.
We were comfortable with that.
Right. But we had to get under that bridge.
Yeah. So we kept chugging away. The bridge slowly kept coming closer and closer. Yeah. And by 10 o'clock, we were almost there. And that's when our next challenge hit.
Right, like I couldn't get any harder. So Starship wanted to throw a few more quirks into our day there. So I guess we took down the sails and we were going to motor, right? Because at that point we were just being headed so bad that we weren't making headway. Okay, take the sails down, we're close enough, let's start motoring. And after a while, we could feel the boat was slowing down when we weren't throttling back. And that kept happening, and we were realizing we were losing propulsion. Our transmission was giving out on us. So Jay, at that point, he knew we had a little bit of momentum still, so we decided to shut the engine down and just hold on to whatever the transmission could give us for getting to the marina after getting under the bridge. So that's when the jib sail went back up. And we were so exhausted at that point. Like, we had to dig so deep, all three of us. But Jay took the lead, and he cracked the whip, and he got us into race mode. And so we began tacking, heading into this wind, tacking back and forth, trying to get under the bridge, get our line to clear the big pillars to get under that bridge.
Fairly narrow passage, too. It wasn't huge. If you think of freighters, it could handle 2 freighters going past, but it was for tacking, it was still pretty narrow, but...
And they have this marine controller, I think that's what you call this guy, and so he kind of, you know, keeps an eye on the traffic going through this busy channel. And so he radios us up and he's like, Starship, what are you guys doing? What's your plan down there?
Yeah.
And so Jay reassured him, hey.
Yeah, he called up to find out why we were sailing across the shipping channel or shipping lanes.
Late at night, yeah.
And so, yeah, we informed him of what was going on, that we lost propulsion. Excellent guy. Like, he was giving all kinds of advice. Do we need Coast Guard? Are you okay? What's your plan? So we assured him that, no, we can sail. We're a sailboat. We're good sailing. We're going to Harborage Marina on the other side of the channel.
We added some excitement to his otherwise boring shift, I think.
And so he was good with that. Simply informed us that there was a freighter coming through at 1:30 that gets priority. So if we couldn't be through under the bridge by 1:30, we'd have to sit on the outside and wait for it to go through.
We did not want to do that.
No. And so I reassured him he did. As Amanda said, we went into race mode. But the harder part at this part is... as Amanda said, we were exhausted. And not only were we exhausted, but, well, you had been up, what was it now, like?
I was pushing 71 hours. Yeah, and it was really, I've never experienced hallucinations up to that point. And I had some really wild experiences. So I could hear music. So before the bridge and after the bridge, it was multiple times, I could hear music so clearly. I could hear the lyrics. Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. If you know the lyrics, it's kind of ironic. That was the song that I was hearing. And it sounded like there was a party boat right beside us. And I couldn't understand why Jay and Dylan couldn't hear it. I kept asking them over and over again, like, you hear that music, right? And they're like, no. And I also, at one point, briefly, there was another woman on board.
I never saw her.
There wasn't another woman on board, but it was really becoming evident that the exhaustion and just being in those conditions for so long were really, really wearing on me. And I remember going into race mode and just like physically being so exhausted and mentally, but I didn't cry because I knew if I did that, then it's all over. But yeah, no, we held on, and you did such an awesome job.
Getting
us.
We all did. Like, even Dylan at this point, and
he was great.
We just dug deep. Good. We got through before the freighter, so that was good. Woo. And and so we got out of the channel on the other side, kept tacking our way up to where the channel that splits off to our marina would be.
Right.
And so we got all the way there. It was great.
Moment of truth now.
Moment of truth. We're close enough. It's like, let's put pull the sails down. Let's try the motor.
Yeah.
Fired the motor up, and when this happened the first time and we shut it down, I thought there was a little bit of reverse still. I thought I had some reverse, but just no forward momentum. So
we had this plan.
And so the sails are down, motor's on, and I remember looking at Amanda and just saying, like, this ain't gonna be pretty, but we're giving it a go. And the plan was to motor backwards down the channel to the marina, because
it just made sense at that point.
It made sense, yeah. And so, sure enough, I put it in reverse, and nothing. We weren't moving. The engine was turning, everything was spinning except the prop shaft. And so,
fortunately, we were just out of the channel.
We were out of all the channels, and we couldn't sail it.
No,
that
option was gone.
Yeah, and at this point, the reason the channel was there is it got shallow quickly with a lot of reefs on either side, and again, unfamiliar to us. We didn't want to risk it. So
black.
The best option we had was to spend the night out there. By now, it's like, I think at this point it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
So he threw the anchor down.
Yeah, anchor went down. All 250 feet of chain went out.
He just threw it all out.
And another 100 feet of our 1-inch rode went out with it.
And we had never, in our experiences, anchored in wind and waves like that.
Yeah.
Like the bow was still just
30 knot winds.
Up and down.
We had at least 3 to 4 foot waves in the harbor. Bearing the nose, like my feet were again getting soaked every time the bow went down. It would sink underwater and come back up as I'm trying to hook these lines up.
At that point, I'm trying to remember what Dylan ate. So Dylan had come down, got out of his wet clothes. He ate something.
Probably noodles.
And was like sound asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was done.
He was done.
So we're still trying to make sure this boat is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. So we got us anchored, and to the best of my knowledge, we weren't dragging.
Mm-hmm.
And if we did, we had a ton of room behind us. So if we dragged slowly, that was okay.
But it would have dragged us into the channel.
No, we were off the channel by then. We would have been dragged back towards the bridge, but we had lots of room to do that if it went slowly.
But we did pull out the secondary anchor.
Yeah.
Just in case.
So just before that, just before that though, we also let the Coast Guard know that we were hooked, because we thought maybe they would give us a tow in.
I was like, let them know we have a child on board.
And no, when we called in, their first questions were, are you anchored? Yep.
It's cell
do you have life jackets? Yep. Do you have cell communication? Yep.
Food and water?
Do you have food and water? Yep. Okay, well, you're safe. We're not a tow service.
It made sense.
It did.
It did, yeah.
Especially at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So we called a tow service, and they said they would come out, but given the hour, they said if you can wait up till 8:30, it would be cheaper. And so we figured, well, we're hooked, we'll wait till 8:30 to keep the cost down, because we didn't have any service, so this would have been a fairly hefty out-of-pocket bill.
Mm-hmm.
And we got back to the harbor control and let him know we were anchored. Mm-hmm. And again, very good. He said, if anything changes, let us know. And then he also actually mentioned about our insurance company might cover it, or have a rider to cover it. And so all was good.
Well, you were still up on the bow, right? Yeah, getting back to setting the anchor. So I was just so done down below. Like I needed to shut my body down. So I remember crawling into bed and Jay poking his head down the hatch, saying, "You want to stay alert just while I'm up on the bow, like in case I fall overboard." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm awake. I'll wait. Hurry up." And that was when I saw a snake come through the hatch. There was no snake, but I was hallucinating again. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. So we finally closed our eyes.
It was I think it was 5:30 when we finally dried off, crawled into the V-berth. I remember looking at Amanda, giving her a kiss, saying, "Happy anniversary."
It was our 27th wedding anniversary.
And then crashed out for, I think, 2.5, 3 hours.
3 hours. And then in the morning we contacted our insurance and coordinated the tow. And this really great guy showed up. We were so happy to see the towboat.
Yeah.
And he did a really great job getting us
side-slipped
into our dock at Harbridge Marina.
Yeah. And I think we all climbed off and kissed the dock. And
yeah, damn near.
It was, it was that. So that was our 3 days.
Yeah, that was hard. Oh, and we didn't say, we also, at one point, the anchor on the front had let loose.
Right.
And we couldn't figure out what the sound was for the longest time. And
because it goes to show our state of mind.
Yeah.
I remember for, it was probably 2 or 3 hours, I kept hearing this banging noise. And I could hear it and kind of feel it in the cockpit.
It sounded like it was like in the stern, like it was close by.
And so in my mind, it was like, it's probably just a cupboard door. It's
hanger.
It's fine, or something banging.
Whacking.
And so a couple hours go on, and I keep hearing it every now and then. And then I figured, you know what? There was one of the doors up in the V-berth was always coming undone. And I figured it's just that door slapping. And so after about 6 or 7 hours of this, and keep in mind, this is at night, and everything's breaking loose, we're exhausted, wet, tired, all that, I finally had enough. I'm like, okay, we got to figure out what this banging is. And so I go down, figuring it's a door. I close the door. Nope, not the door. I'm sitting there, nothing. Then I hear the bang again and realize it's from the V-berth, and then the light,
outside.
The light bulb goes on.
Yeah.
And I come running back and poke my head out of the cockpit, and of course the man is like, "Where you think you're going?"
Yeah, so here he is climbing onto the bow.
Yeah, and I remember looking up front with the flashlight, and I didn't see the anchor on the front. And then immediately I knew the anchor rope that was holding it had let go, and the anchor is now over the side, and it was what was swinging and banging into the front hull.
And it was taking chunks out of the paint.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it didn't go
right through. But we had, it was taking
some
pretty big chunks, and also above the water line. Fortunately, I had the foresight to not only tie the anchor, but I also tied the chain a little bit further back, so it had, the rope that was holding the anchor broke, but the rope that was holding the chain held.
Thank goodness.
It was suspended just above the water, but with us bouncing up and down in that, and
Thank goodness you realized when you did.
Yeah. So I had to go forward during all this chaos.
And I'm imagining him falling overboard, right?
And I had to secure this anchor back, pull it back onto the boat, and then try securing it down so that it wouldn't bang.
So that was more damage.
And so it was...
Yeah, so that's the story of the Gulf of Mexico. Just remembering it all has my heart rate up. It was crazy. Yeah. And it was so hard because, as we were saying, we were so excited for this experience, this big ocean passage, saltwater passage in the Gulf. And it had us questioning everything. What were we doing? What were we doing putting ourselves and Dylan in that situation? Were we really ready for this?
Why were we doing this?
Why were we doing this? Are we trying to prove something to ourselves or to somebody else? And were we on the right offshore boat? Was Starship really the boat we should be doing that on? So it was discouraging. It was really, really hard. And it, as we said, it almost ended the big trip right as it was beginning. Yeah. But like we always do, we take things like that as a learning experience, an opportunity to do better. And we decide, no, we're going to push on. Yeah. So we learned a lot from that, and have continued on, and we're both really happy that we did.
Yeah. And it's weird because in this lifestyle you go through all these problems, and yet in the moment it's really intense, but you get tied up to a dock and the boat stops moving, and you get onto solid land, you get dry, and you get food in you.
Yeah.
And
then you debrief.
You debrief and you de-stress and you de-pressure, and it's amazing how you start coming back from that low of lows. And as Amanda says, you start questioning as you question all these things, you start coming back and you start answering the questions. And you talk about it, and you talk about different paths. And for us, we learned some big lessons from that. The timeline was a big one.
Yep.
Trying to sail to a timeline.
Don't sail to a timeline. Don't sail to a deadline.
Yeah.
But
making it a big passage right when we've just spent 2 months motoring and just put the boat back together, like
shorter hops. We should have planned shorter hops.
Yeah. And we know now from experience that whatever the weather says, don't take that as gospel. Like, yes, trades in that are pretty reliable, but things do change. And
we've seen that over and over again.
You got to make sure you're planning more for the change than the regular passage. But but we survived.
We pushed on. So that was our...
And we had a great Christmas.
So our next video, Chapter 5, Festive Seas. So it starts right where we're leaving off here. So Harbridge Marina, we slept, we ate, and then we slept and ate again. And then we got on the phone with Alex and like, hey kiddo, you got to change your flight. You got to come to Tampa for Christmas. So we got that sorted out. And then the three of us, I think we rented a car.
For a couple days.
Hopped in. We drove to Clearwater because it was now December 23rd. I think I had not yet bought a Christmas gift for anyone. So we had to get some Christmas shopping done. And then... So we'll continue with our first Christmases liveaboards. It was wonderful. And then fixing our broken boat.
Fixing our broken boat. We actually got it fixed.
And we sailed into Key West, finally, the four of us, New Year's Day. Yeah. We got to enjoy our time with Alex in Key West. After he left, we pointed the bow up the Florida coast and lined ourselves up to prepare for our crossing of the Gulf Stream to get to Bimini, Bahamas. So that's Festive Seas. Thank you for following along. Don't forget to subscribe and like us. It's easy to do, and it really helps us out.
Cheers, everyone.